I have to say that your past guest is just, frankly, comes off as a Hamas propagandist. And the statements he's making are so untrue, right? That the Israelis are holding Palestinian children as hostages, that they don't want a Palestinian state, that Hamas is ready and willing to release the hostages. Outrageously untrue and ridiculous. Now, Israel does not want Gaza. In 2005, Israel pulled every single last man, woman, and child out of Gaza and exhumed the dead bodies of Israelis because it knew what Hamas would do to them, and gave everything to the Gazans to build their state, because that's what the world pressured and wanted Israel to do, and they did. And what did the Gazans do? They elected Hamas 2 years later, and the world loved it, sent them billions of dollars of aid, turned a blind eye.
Well, actually, Israel did, actually. Well, hang on, Israel did. Hang on. Prime Minister Netanyahu, sorry, Brooke, just to be clear,
specifically for this purpose, civilians.
If you could let me just make a point. Okay, let me make a point. Right, Prime Minister Netanyahu, as you know, was instrumental in getting billions of dollars funneled to Hamas because he wanted to have divide and rule between Hamas and the Palestinian Authority. It was a very deliberate strategy which has backfired horrifically badly for Netanyahu. And I believe one of the reasons he doesn't want this war to end is there will be a day of reckoning for him, his complicity in funding Hamas, his complicity in failing on his watch in allowing Hamas to commit that terror attack, because he always said his number one goal was to defend Israelis. Well, it was the most horrible breach of that pledge imaginable. And he's also facing personal corruption charges. So there are a number of reasons why many people are growing increasingly cynical that Netanyahu's own self-interest is actually being put ahead of Israeli self-interest. And let me bring Gershom back in here. You know, my position about this is not that Israel didn't have a right to defend itself. I absolutely believed they had a moral duty to their people after October 7th to defend themselves. But I think what we're seeing now is way beyond any self-defense. And I think the rhetoric that Wajahat talked about from Smodrich and these guys, very hard right members of his cabinet, who somehow get dismissed as not important, but are clearly hugely influential in this government, that they are talking openly about cleansing Palestinians from the Gaza Strip. That is ethnic cleansing.